Breaking news in the NFL this week as star wide receiver of the Atlanta Falcons, Julio Jones has been traded to the Tennessee Titans. Also tonight, our Nation Sports Show continues its playoff coverage for the NBA and the NHL. Saturday night may be alright for fighting, but on this night, Saturday night was alright for an opening Eastern Conference semifinal matchup between the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks. In Game 1 of the series, Brooklyn defeated the Bucks 115 to 107. In Game 2, total domination, a symphony of destruction by Brooklyn to Milwaukee as they blew out the Bucks 125 to 86. Now, with their backs against the wall, and the next two games back in Milwaukee, can Jonathan Antetokounmpo and the Bucks climb back into the series? Can they tie the series at 2 games apiece? And for the time being, stopping the momentum of the Big Three in Brooklyn. Also, 2 Game 6s on Thursday night last week. First up, the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers back in Los Angeles. Phoenix star player Devin Booker was hot from the field, scorching the Lakers defense, scoring a playoff high 47 points, helping the Suns defeat the world champions in 6 games. Also, Game 6, the Denver Nuggets and the Portland Trail Blazers back in Portland. The MVP for the regular season this year in the NBA, Nikola Jokic put the Nuggets on his back, helping Denver defeat the Trail Blazers in 6 games. Now, they take on the Suns in the Western Conference semifinals in the first 2 games of that series. So far, the Suns have total control against Denver. Now that the series goes back to Denver for games 3 and 4, can the Nuggets protect their home court against the Suns? Also, this past Friday was Game 6 between the Clippers and the Mavericks as Kawhi Leonard held the Los Angeles Clippers, tied their series against the Dallas Mavericks, and forced it back to like Game 7 as he scored 45 points. In Game 7, the Clippers had 7 players in double figures as they defeated the Mavericks 126 to 111. Now they take on the Utah Jazz, the top seed in the Western Conference semifinals. In the opening game, the Jazz took Game 1 in an epic battle, winning it 112 to 109. How will the Clippers respond in Game 2 in the NHL? The Bruins lost to the Islanders in 6 games. Tampa Bay defeated Carolina 4 games to 1 in their series. And for now, Vegas leads Colorado 3 games to 2. The nation speaks to you. Next. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sports. Members of the Busted Up Nation bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Kevin, the Statman McDonald, Ezra Vickery, and Stephen Wyand.
Welcome everybody to another edition of our Nation Sports Show. Remember, you guys can go and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of that jazz. Not MySpace. We don't do MySpace. That's too old. You can go and follow us at Our Nation Sports Show. Just go into the search bar on each of those ones that I just mentioned, and you can go and give us a follow. We're still at 61 subscribers on YouTube. I don't know what the numbers are on Twitter. I don't know what the numbers are on Facebook. I really don't know what the numbers are on Instagram. But I know the YouTube one because I just went and looked at it. Please go and subscribe to the show. Please. I beg of you. We need it. Our lives might depend on it. I'm not entirely sure. So we're coming to you live, first things first, from Patty's Pub in South Philadelphia, voted best bar or worst bar, depending upon who the gang might have pissed off this week. In South Philadelphia, I'm doing pretty okay for a Thursday. I really don't want to go and watch the Astros and the Red Sox because I've had enough of that for a lifetime in these last couple of weeks. So I'm going to go and pick another game to go and watch while I do this show. So I'm going to go and throw it to the main man with a plan, as long as he goes and unmutes himself at the moment. Out in good old heartland of America, close to Chicago. Ezra, how's it going?
Going good, brother. Man, ready for another excellent show. We got a lot to talk about, that's for sure, with these playoffs on both the NHL and NBA sides being so action-packed. Oh, man, I know you might have a slight bone to pick. Steven might have a slight bone to pick. Should be for an interesting show, guys. Let's rip it, and hit it.
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely got a bone to pick. It won't be an angry, Kevin rant or anything like that, but it's going to come from the heart and the mind and the soul of well, I'll tease it a little bit and get to it in a little bit. But we're going to go down North Kakalaki. We're going to go and talk to Steven, see how he's doing. Steven, what's up? How's it going?
What's going on, brothers? Let's do this, man. Another Thursday night of talking sports from all of us to you sports fans out there. NBA, NHL playoffs. Yes, I said playoffs.
Wait, playoffs?
Playoffs?
You're talking about playoffs?
I just hope they can win a game. Well, sorry. Well, your Bruins didn't win this series, but that's okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, so let's go right out the jump. Let's go and talk about the NHL playoffs as I go and set up my glorious lighting so you guys can go and see my face a little bit clearer. So I'm going to start it off. We're going to get to the elephant in the room in a minute, but I'm gonna hold off on that. So Tampa Bay Lightning are moving on in the NHL playoffs. I don't know, Steven, if you covered that in the intro.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. So, but for those who might have joined in a little late on the intro, we have 3 teams that have punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup semifinal. Since this year it's obviously been an Eastern and Western Conference final with the division realignment due to COVID. The Tampa Bay Lightning took care of business against the Carolina Hurricanes 4-1. The New York Islanders beat the Boston Bruins 4-2. Get to that. Montreal, once again, surprising everybody. Now having ripped off 7 straight wins, they swept the Winnipeg Jets. And the only series currently going on right now is the Vegas Golden Knights leading 3-2 over the Colorado Avalanche. Arguably 1A and 1B in the NHL this year when it comes to the best teams. They both tied this season in points. So, of course, in Tampa, it pretty much was a foregone conclusion that Tampa was going to move on. They are, as Dougie Hamilton went and said today, they got beat by a team that is $18 million over the cap because, all of a sudden 2 guys that weren't playing all season are able to go and join for the playoffs.
Yep.
Puts the Tampa Bay Lightning over the cap, but I guess we're going to sweep that one under the rug. Come back to that later on, I guess, or never. Pretty much straight to the point. Braden Point, all-star for Tampa. That team is great. Vasilevsky, their goalie, is once again just standing on his head, superb. It's looking very likely that they're going to be able to get to the Stanley Cup final, and that is not jilted, jaded. All the Islanders beat my team, F them. No, I do not think that the Islanders can go and beat Tampa. Tampa is just that good. So, but I said the same thing about New York beating Pittsburgh, and I also said the same thing about New York beating Boston. So the Islanders could absolutely go and stun everybody in the last season of the Nassau Coliseum and win the Stanley Cup. Mean me a little bit. Out in Vegas and Colorado in that series, I mean, it's living up to the hype of the best series in the playoffs. This really does feel like it'll be the Stanley Cup for the 2 of these teams. Honestly, if I'm going to pull for a team now that the Bruins are out, I'm probably going to pull for a Vegas or a Colorado, whichever one comes out of that division. Whichever one comes out of that matchup, that's the guy that I'm going for. Especially if it's Vegas. I mean, it'll be, I want to say their 4th season. Yeah, it'll be their 4th season as a club, and I mean, they'll have gone to 3 out of 4 conference finals, I believe. I can't remember if they went last year or not. I know they didn't go back in 2019, the year that the St. Louis Blues won. Biggest surprise is Montreal. I mean, they're the worst playoff team in terms of points, and they're playing like they're one of the best. It's absolutely surprising that they've been able to go and best Winnipeg, that they were able to go and beat the Beast in Toronto, though at the same time, Toronto playoffs,
Not surprising.
apparently the second round is just not their thing. So one day they'll get over the hump. It might be when I'm dead and buried in the ground, but who knows? Now I've skated around. Oh God, the Bruins last night. That was so disappointing to go and watch. It felt like they quit. Like a lot of the players quit on the team. I don't know, Ezra or Steven, if you guys watched the game at all last night.
Yes, I checked out the last period for sure. And man, like when I saw the scores, like I had to check this out, and then man, the people in the, they were like on their feet, they were cheering their team. The Coliseum was rocking, man. That crowd was red hot. And when they scored those last couple of goals, especially empty net goals, man, just the entire place was just rocking, man. And I'm like, wait, this game was very competitive. What happened? Like, it made no sense because Boston is a talented team this year. It's like you said, Kevin. I mean, last night, the 3 head players of that team need to be held accountable to with the responsibilities of not fulfilling the promises for the Bruins this year because they had a great season this year.
Yeah. I can go and tell you, though, the New York Islanders defense and the team in general, it wasn't that Bergeron, the so-called perfection line, Patrice Bergeron, David Pastrnak, and Brad Marchand. It's not that they erased themselves from the score sheet. They got erased. They got held down.
Correct.
And we needed like I played for the Bruins. The Bruins needed to have scoring depth, and they seriously lacked that. Behind the first line of what I mentioned, Bergeron, Pastrnak, and Marchand, they have David Krejci, they have Taylor Hall, and Craig Smith. They did a little bit of production, but not nearly enough. And then after that, it's a severe drop-off. And I think the biggest thing was they got banged up. Kevin Miller left the series. Brandon Carlo left the series after another hit to the head. You had Mac Rizlick last night play by far one of his worst games in a long time, to the point where I started, and if there's any long-term Bruins fans like myself listening and watching tonight, the name Dennis Wideman should scare the ever-loving piss out of you. Hearing that name, and that was what Mac Rizlick was channeling last night, was that Dennis Wideman, no stick, trying to defend, and sticking his hands out like, you're going this way, 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 and it just not working out for him. They sorely lack scoring depth. That's the biggest thing offensively. Defensively, they need to have more right-handed shots. They have a lot of left, which can be great, but it can also be a detriment to the team and to the way that they go and play because you become entirely too predictable. They need to get healthy. They need to get better. They need to part ways with pieces. Like a Brandon Carlo, you could trade him. And yeah, he's a great player. I like him, but I think you can get something for him. I think you can get something for Craig Smith. I think you can still get something for a David Krejci. The biggest elephant when it comes to the Bruins is Tuukka Rask. He is a good goalie. I will go and say that. I do not think he is the goalie of the future in black and gold. True black and gold, Pittsburgh fans. True black and gold. We did it first. So I don't know. I do not see Tuukka Rask being the Boston Bruins goalie next year. I really thought that last night was a good opportunity to go and start Swayman. This is the sway. Put the kid in. Let's see what he can go and do with the season on the line. And they decided not to go and do that. Rask, whether it's mental gymnastics or physically with his back this year, he just never seems to come up in the clutch. I know somebody yesterday went and posted a tweet that his name is on the cup for 2011 when the Bruins won, but he was the backup goalie. He didn't see any ice time because Tim Thomas didn't need to be spelled at all. With Tuukka, I don't think that he can win the Stanley Cup as the starting goalie for the Boston Bruins, and I really don't see him again being in a Bruins uniform. Is that really going to happen? I don't know. All likelihood, they're probably going to want to continue to be with Rask because apparently the Bruins just think that he's still the goalie, and he's clearly slowing down. He's clearly hampered by something. That back had to have gone and done quite a bit of damage to him. And I said last night on my Twitter, at xrhythm13, for those who are keeping score at home, that I think Bruce Cassidy, the head coach, he should have a hot seat. Cam Neely, president of operations, he should have a hot seat. Don Sweeney, general manager, should have the hottest of the seats. Not saying to go and fire them right away and blow the whole thing sky high. I still think that this core has at least another season before you really got to start thinking about, can Bergeron still perform the same way? Can we go and win with this core? Do we have to kind of blow it up a little bit? But you're going to look, like I look back to the 2015 NHL draft. Boston Bruins had 3 straight picks. They picked Jakub Zaboral, Jake DeBrusk, Zachary Zenezin. The next pick after Zenezin, New York Islanders Matthew Barzal. That for hockey fans, that is all I gotta go and say, because Barzal has turned out to be a hell of a player and a hell of a get, and Jake DeBrusk, in Game 4, basically was a ghost, and he got benched and then brought back. And at this point, you'll be lucky to go and get a bag of pucks for him. Zaboral doesn't do anything. Zenezin doesn't do anything. So that's 3 first-round picks in a row that are gone. You've had Sweeney go and sign guys that just have not worked out. You've had Sweeney make trades that have not worked out. So I think this offseason is going to be a very tough one for the Boston Bruins, because there's a lot of things, and it might feel like they're stuck in a certain situation, and maybe that situation is, this is who the team is. Out in 2 rounds. 2 and done. At least they're better than Toronto and 1 and done. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Need a break before I start to cry. I won't actually cry, but you get the point.
I was gonna say, if you cry, that'll be great for our ratings.
Yeah.
But no, I think there is going to be some after the season coming up. I think there's going to be some major shakeups within the Bruins organization as far as players, especially on the goaltending. I agree with you on Tuukka Rask. I've been watching basically since his debut in the NHL, and I do agree with you. He's lacking certain qualities that are needed to be an elite goaltender, especially for that particular organization. I'm not saying he's not a bad goalie by any stretch. He's a good goalie. He's a great goalie, but he's not one that is the elites. He's not like, he's not like those, he's not like, and I hate to compare it to my Blackhawks, but he's not like what an Antti Niemi was in the 2010, or Corey Crawford when Corey was on his best day. Tuukka was great. Don't get me wrong. I'll even compare Andre Fleury, man. Andre Fleury was a badass. Mm-hmm. And, I thought he was one of the best goalies in the entire NHL. One of the most touted, in my opinion. But I think there may have to be a change in the goaltending aspect. I think there's going to be some changes made on the offensive side of the goalpost, shall we say. I don't know if this core is going to last more than one season because I believe there's going to have to be some major changes that are going to be made to help the Bruins get past that 2-and-done curse that it seems like
Yes.
you guys have been going through. I don't think people automatically think, office changes. It's not a matter of the office changes. It's a matter of having the right chemistry of players with the right abilities to be able to be out there and make the important plays happen when they count.
Yes.
While the office does help, do not get me wrong, the office helps build those plays and helps make them happen. It's the players that are out there putting the pads on, grabbing the skates and the stick. They're the ones who've got to execute those plays. And if they're not doing it right, and they're not at the elite level that organization expects them to be, they're going to be gone. So I give it one more season, and then that core is going to be split up. I don't know how much of it will be, but there's going to be some changes.
I totally agree. I mean, the Bruins have had this curse, like you guys are saying, and I totally, get it. From a Boston standpoint, you guys are so passionate about your sports teams, whether it be the Patriots, the Bruins, the Celtics, so that's being Celtics fans, the Red Sox, all this stuff. They need to do something about this in the offseason. They need to sit these guys down and look, guys, we need to do better next season, because if we don't, there's going to be some major changes. And if there's no major changes, well, then I'm sorry, boys. It's time to split the core group up, whether it's 2/3 of you or every one of you, or even just one person out of the core group. There needs to be some changes done, and it's going to start this offseason, I do believe, and I agree.
Yeah, no, there definitely needs to be some changes. Ezra, to your point about, the players, executing what the coaches want and all that. Yeah, you're right that the player should go and execute what the coach does, and the coach should go and have a good game plan for it. But it also depends upon the skill level of GM to go and get the right players for the right mindset. The Islanders essentially played the same game the Bruins played for years, being this very tough, hit you again. And the Bruins couldn't match up with it anymore. It's the same thing that happened in 2019 with the St. Louis Blues. The same thing that happened. I can't use the Tampa Bay Lightning as an example because that was just a team that just could skate circles around anybody. But you go and play these rougher teams that will throw the bodies at you, and they just can't do it anymore. It's almost like you kind of could go and make a case that they're no longer the big bad Bruins, and that's a shame. Just thankfully, Philadelphia Flyers aren't the Brush Street Bullies. Otherwise, I'd really be having a conniption over this. But there's got to be some changes, because outside of 2011, outside of 2019, outside of 2013, those being the 3 Stanley Cup years, they've been 1 or 2 rounds. That's it. They've outside of those 3 years, it's either a first round or a second round exit, and it's almost like they're doomed to be this. And unless they go and make some significant changes to goaltender, go and sign other defensemen, go and trade pieces to get better players. They got $28 million under the cap to go and play with. There's rumors of Jack Eichel wanting to go and play, leave Buffalo. He wants to come back to Boston. He was a Boston University product. I would love to have Jack Eichel on the team. I don't know if we can afford him. He's due $10 million a year for the next few. That's just a ton of money to go and give to a player. Even a player like Jack Eichel, who I think is one of the better players, young-wise, who's kind of one of those unsung, unseen players because he plays in literal hell known as the Buffalo Sabres. But we'll see. It all depends. Sweeney could go and knock it out of the park with signings this offseason. He could knock it out of the park with a couple of trades. Not entirely sure. It's enough talking about hockey for now. Next week, when we know who will be in the semis, for sure. So the one last thing I will say about the Bruins loss is there goes the chance in my life to go and watch 2 original 6 franchises fight for the Stanley Cup. The last time that they were able to go and do that was before the expansion of 1967. Damn it. That would have been nice. So, moving on. Going to the world of the NBA, the playoffs in there. Obviously, we know Celtics are out, Lakers are out, the Mavericks are now out. So we have some series that have started out there. Once the NBA loads up on my computer, and I can figure out what I'm looking for. There it is.
So you still haven't found what you're looking for, huh?
I knew it was
Nope,
coming.
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Steven's favorite band.
Sure. Whatever.
Well, it's a great song. You have to call it a favorite band of a lot of people, especially after
Let's not
they
go there,
said,
shall we?
"Hey, let's just go and drop an album on your iPod without telling you."
That's phenomenal. Oh,
So, to the bracket. Good bracket. So we've got a game 3 tonight between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn leads that series 2-0. And we have a game 2 out west, the Utah Jazz and the LA Clippers, with Utah leading that 1-0. The other two games that will play tomorrow night, the Philadelphia 76ers and Atlanta Hawks are tied at 1. And the Denver Nuggets and Phoenix Suns series will be in game 3. Both of those will be in game 3 tomorrow night. Phoenix has a 2-0 lead over the Denver Nuggets. The supposedly reigning MVP, forgive me if I go on butcher his name, Donka Joke. No.
Nikola Jokic.
What was that again, Steven?
Jokic. Last name Jokic.
Jokic. There we go. Okay. I can't remember his first name, but like a lot of the Eastern European, Baltic, not Baltic, Balkan, Balkan countries like a Serbia or a Bosnia Herzegovina, and all I just have such a tough time trying to pronounce their names.
And he's one of the best players right now in the NBA.
Oh, absolutely. From what I've seen in highlights, he's definitely changing the way the center is played. Has there any to you guys the surprise for me in terms of watching not really watching but seeing the scores and highlights? It's Atlanta and Philadelphia being a 1-1 series tie. That's surprising to me.
Yes.
Maybe Atlanta is a lot better than their record shows.
Especially with a guy like Trae Young. I mean, Trae Young is phenomenal at his age right now. I mean, this kid he's going to be a superstar in this league for years to come. And Philadelphia better watch it, man, because going to Atlanta for the next 2 games, man, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm a little nervous because Atlanta right now is that one team that nobody saw going as far as they did to the next round. And that's going to be a very interesting game 3 tomorrow night.
Oh, for sure. It'll definitely be a very interesting game 3 tomorrow. Ezra, how about you? Any surprises?
Definitely, I got to go with just Atlanta getting that first game off of Philly. You know, Philly has been dominant, and they've been really showing their worth. Trae Young, like he said, he's young, but he is at such an elite level already. It is borderline ridiculous. You know, he's doing so well right now in these playoffs. But the way Atlanta got that first game and was able to get the series lead, but then Philly coming in there and knotting it up. Holy shit! I think this is going to be one of those really high profile, just series in the NBA playoffs. I think it's going to be. It could be a conference final. It could be an NBA final matchup if they were on different divisions. It could be because it's just already it shows how super competitive the game is, and a lot of these games are not score deficits are not super high. You know, it's not like they were blown out by 30 points or anything like that.
Yeah,
they kept it within a pretty short range of the scores. So I'm actually very invested in that. And I'm at probably the other series I'm invested in outside of that would have to be the Phoenix Denver series. Oh my dude, The Phoenix Suns have been my team to really go far in the playoffs and really make a name for themselves. I don't know if they'll make it to the finals. I mean, I want them to be honest, because I grew up a Bulls fan, but my dad was also a big, huge Suns fan. He loved Phoenix, and so it's something a little bit special to me. But outside of that, I got to go with the surprise being the knotted up series right now involving Atlanta and Philly.
Yes, and Devin Booker for Phoenix, man, he is he good.
Oh.
That boy good.
Oh, and I saw the car he was rolling up to the game with, and yeah, that's a very, very nice car.
Looked like something straight out of a 70s pimp movie.
Man,
oh yeah,
that dude he can roll out any car he wants to, because last week in Game 6 against LA, back in Los Angeles, he killed the Lakers season by scoring 47 points. I mean, that dude was, he was spectacular in that game. He cannot be stopped.
Yep. Couple of quick little items in the NBA, unless you guys have more thoughts on the playoffs and the other series. I mean, they seem to be pretty cut and dry. Brooklyn beating Milwaukee seemed to be an expected thing given who Brooklyn has.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people thought that Milwaukee was going to give Brooklyn a run for their money, and they can still get back in this, but it has to start tonight, because Milwaukee is down. Like I said in the intro, like we've all been saying, they're down 2-0 to Brooklyn right now, and Brooklyn, man, they're killing them, especially game 2. What they got blown up by 39 points. It was incredible. I mean, I'm like Milwaukee has had some incredible seasons in the last 3+ years, but Giannis Antetokounmpo and those guys just can't seem to get over the hump. They're like your Boston Bruins, Kev. I mean, they have a great regular season, and then when the games matter the most, when the chips are on the table, it's time to prove, can you hang with the big boys? Milwaukee right now, man, if they really want to prove their championship medal, it has to start tonight, because you're back at home court advantage for the next 2 games. If you want to prove to the NBA and to us sports fans that you can hang with Brooklyn and you can hang with the rest of the teams, especially like the Jazz or the upstart Phoenix Suns, and the Clippers, I mean, you have to start tonight, because they have had just disappointments in the last couple of seasons, especially with the Eastern Conference Finals trip they had against the Toronto Raptors in 2019, losing in 6 games. And that was Milwaukee's best season as far as record-wise, and with Giannis being the league MVP that year. And there's no telling, can they get back to this? I mean, sports is a very interesting, thing, because you can be going to conference championship games and the NBA championship series and the World Series and the Stanley Cup finals and the Super Bowl and the playoffs in the NFL and all this stuff. But sports can change in an instant. And if Milwaukee wants to have a slim chance of hope, they have to start by winning tonight.
Absolutely. I agree with that, Steven. I'm just looking at the scores from those 2 games. And if you take a look, Giannis had 34 points and 11 rebounds, but PJ Tucker, who's another starting forward for the game, he played 28 minutes and only had 7 points.
They bring in a guy like Tucker. They bring in a guy like Drew Holiday. They're bringing a guy, Milicic.
Drew Holiday. Don't mind you, he had a good game, 18 points, but the man played 37 minutes. He couldn't even get over 20.
Nope.
And if you take a look at the box scores for freaking all the starters, the only starter that had less than 12 points was James Harden, because he had left the game early on that one game back on the 5th.
Yep. It's mind-boggling how Giannis is such a talented player, and he needs to have the supporting cast around him to get the job done. It's not just the starters that have to do a good job. You got to have a good bench to sub in for you when you come out of the game, because you can't play all 48 freaking minutes. I mean, come on. I mean, that's why, all the championship teams in years past, they've had not just a great starting lineup, but they have had a great bench in the past, with great teams like the Celtics, the Bulls, the Lakers, the Spurs, etc. I can go on and freaking on. I mean, it's as simple as that. You got to have more than just your starting 5.
Dude, if you take a look at game 2, of this, particularly game 2 of the series, which was a couple days ago.
Monday.
Dude, yeah, freaking Giannis only had 18. PJ Tucker only had 2, and he played 22 minutes. Dude, how can your starters not score and your bench did absolutely nothing? 2 points for Bobby Portis, 10 for Forbes. Dude, and only 2 for the other Antetokounmpo. And then Brian only got 6. How can this not only just the starters not producing, the bench is not producing either. All sides, it seems like neither side of the coin is really producing that much as far as scoring goes. If there's no even scoring, you're not gonna make much in results when it comes to the overall score of the game.
Nope. It's simple as that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's surprising. I figured that this series would be a little bit closer than it is, but at the same time, it's a Brooklyn Nets team with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, Mickey Mouse, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Jerry Rice, Tom Seaver, Sandy Koufax, Tom Brady,
Peyton Manning,
Peyton Manning's forehead. I mean, the list goes on of all the players that played.
Peyton Manning's zip code from Omaha, Nebraska.
Peyton Manning's wife's prescription to HGH.
How about Tom
Ray
Brady?
Ray Lewis's
but
deer
he-
antler spray. I mean, Ray Lewis's enhancement spray.
But either way, no matter how we slice it and dice it, Brooklyn has all the weapons on this team to be a force to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference and for the entire league in the NBA. And I got a feeling that if there's one team that can stop Brooklyn right now, if Brooklyn gets far enough and they get to the finals, I think it's the Phoenix Suns.
Oh yeah.
The Phoenix Suns, I mean, yeah, you could say the Jazz, but my money is on the Suns to win the championship this year because they have it. I feel like it's their destiny to win the championship this year. With a guy like Devin Booker on that team. And Kobe Bryant talked to him, dude, if you want to be great, you got to go out there and do your thing, and work hard, train hard, all that stuff. And look what Booker's done. Booker has had a hell of a season for the Phoenix this year. Nobody saw Phoenix doing what the damage that they're doing this year.
Dude, Chris Paul even stepped up. Look at the game he had. The other night. 15 points, 15 rebounds, 0 turnovers.
And when you have a head coach that believes in your team, Chris Paul has had lots of coaches over the years, and he's had playoff disappointments with the Clippers. Now, yes, Doc Rivers was a phenomenal coach in Los Angeles, but they never could get past the Western Conference Finals or not even get to the conference finals.
So, all right. Now that we've gotten past the dead air and the awkward silence, there's 2 other news of note for the NBA that at least kind of perked my interest. The first one being that LeBron James is changing his number from 23 to 6. 6 was the number he wore for the Miami Heat.
Yep.
And I remember when he took his talents to South Beach,
Don't even remind me of that bullshit.
Don't even get me started on that again.
Oh, good.
Good. He can take his number, leave LA, and go flop on somebody else's court.
Yes. So, when that happened the first time, when he went to Miami, and he changed to 6, I thought it was imminent that Michael Jordan's number was going to be retired league-wide, kind of like with Wayne Gretzky and with Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
So when it didn't happen, I figured, all right, so then maybe it's down the road. It's just not going to be a right away thing. Because I believe Michael Jordan was a Hall of Famer in 2010, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a year or 2 earlier. I can't remember exactly.
I want to say it was 2007.
Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, do my job for me, guys, please. Thank you.
Anything to help make your job easier, stat man.
So
I'll do. You look up the stats. I just look up facts.
Okay. But now that it's happening again, is it possible that we're going to finally get Michael Jordan's number retired league-wide?
I hope so. I mean, Michael Jordan is obviously the greatest basketball player that has ever played the game and has ever lived. The guy won 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls, multi-MVP in the regular season, 6-time Finals MVP for the Bulls.
2009 was the year he was.
2009. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I was close. I said 2010. I was real close.
Yeah.
No, but it's Steven. Like he's the greatest basketball player of all time. I mean, I was reading a story that somebody asked him if his Bulls team face LeBron's team, who would win, and he said us by 2. I think it was one of the championship teams, and the reporter was amazed, like, wait, why only by 2 points? And Jordan's response was, well, because we're all near 60 by now. And I'm just like, that is a man that is brimming with confidence, knowing that even in the back 9 of sorts, yeah, he could still go and kick your ass. I love it. I love it.
Michael, even at his age, I still think if he was able to play at this juncture of the game, he would still have the competitive drive to outwork you and to outplay you and out defend you and outshoot you and out try you, because Michael always gave it his A game, no matter what day it was. And especially in 97 in the NBA Finals against the Jazz in Game 5, when he was sick as a dog, scoring 38 points.
As he was an elite player on in every stat you could think of, every part of the game you could think of, offensive, defensive, rebounds, assists. The guy was just an elite. He was an elite shooter. He was a great forward. The guy did everything right because he was that damn good.
And he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep. So you can't forget how good of a defensive player MJ was, even though we mainly focus on his offensive play, which is what he's known for.
Now, granted, LeBron, when he is on and he cares about the game, he is good. Is he better than Jordan? No, I don't think he is. No. And I full-heartedly agree that Michael's number now is the time for it to be retired. And to be honest with you, I think Kobe Bryant's numbers 8 and 24 at some point need to be retired.
Yes, they definitely should. I don't know about league wide. Definitely for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's number should definitely be retired league wide.
I agree.
Yes. LeBron changing his number, whatever. Again, who cares? But the simple fact is the Lakers have a lot of questions that need to be answered in the offseason this upcoming season. Because how do you go from the number 1 seed last year? Granted, it was COVID, but even before COVID, the Lakers were the number 1 team in the Western Conference last year. And this year, they slid all the way down, basically almost to the number 8 seed in the West. Now, granted, the West is a tough conference to play in, but at the same time, when you give it your all and you try hard, more than likely you're going to succeed. But when you're taking nights off, you're not going to have a lot of success because you don't really seem to care as much. And I think that was the problem the Lakers had this year. And I mean, look at the records. I mean, I'm not saying that the Lakers didn't care at all this year, but also, too, this is also a proven fact that they are a 2-man team with LeBron and Anthony Davis at the helm. When Anthony Davis was in the lineup, they had the best record in the NBA. When he went down with the injury, they were basically sub 500 or almost dead at 500.
Granted, and I will give the Lakers this. They did have some injuries that bit them in the season. LeBron did get injured legitimately. I'm not going to disqualify him on that front in a sense. And if you want to call injuries, getting your toe stubbed or getting a hangnail, being LeBron James and then sitting out for 2 months, 3 months, almost, or 2 months,
or the camera's not on you, so your shoulder hurts all of a sudden.
You flop over the court like a fish that just got caught straight out of the lake. But I digress. But there were some injury issues and there was some problems. I will grant them that. But the team just seemed to have less drive going into this season than it's almost like a COVID hangover per se, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
In a sense, because the season was so short, then they had to come straight back right after that. I mean, it affected a lot of teams. I'm not saying it just affected the Lakers. It affected a lot of teams having a shortened season and then having to come back and then start camp and all that stuff already. But like you said, Steven, when it comes to the Lakers, they did not have the competitive drive that they'd had 2 seasons ago, not by a long shot.
And I'll go back as far as 2011 when they lost to the Mavericks in 6 games in that season. The next season, by far, looked like it was going to be canceled because of the lockout. And when the season started on Christmas Day, 66 regular season games. The Miami Heat had that driven mentality that we didn't care how many games, 82, 62, 102, 122. It didn't matter. Miami still had the competitive drive no matter what happened that year, no matter if they were down a series or they were up a series, no matter how many games they were involved in, they had that competitive drive that they wanted the championship that bad, especially against the Celtics that year. They were down 3-2. I know Kevin remembers that because LeBron came into Boston and they're like, oh man, it's the Garden, they're rocking. And then LeBron comes in there and destroys the Celtics, scoring 45 points. And I'm like, well, I'll be damned. Miami had that competitive drive that year. They were competitive. They were driven. They felt like they were the title was stolen from them the previous year in 2010, 2011, because the fact that they took games off. And that, I'm wondering, is that going to make the Lakers this upcoming off season want to work a little bit harder? Because obviously Laker fans around the world were very disappointed in their basketball team this year, because when they were hot, they were good. But then when those injuries happened, oh boy, they dropped bad. And now that the Jazz have become one of the best basketball teams right now in the Western Conference, and the Phoenix Suns are hot right now, and you got the Denver Nuggets with Jokic being the MVP this year. The competition in the West is thick, very thick. And a Clipper team that is trying to proclaim they are now the team of Los Angeles because of Kawhi Leonard, the way he's been playing this playoff, and Paul George right there beside him.
Hey, Kevin, before we continue on to the next point, we do have one little announcement to make for this show. And that is that in a little bit here, probably around 8:30-ish towards the end of the show, we will be having Hijacker Mike join us for a live edition of Nation Night Fights. And he'll also give us an update on when Nation Night Fights will return on our Nation Sports Show.
Awesome. I can't wait for that. Hopefully he doesn't cover the atrocity on Sunday.
Well, to be fair, Kevin, it's a boxing report, and Hijacker hasn't done this since May the 6th.
I know, but do we really want to call that boxing?
I know, but
it's Hijacker's got to cover it.
It
looked
a lot more like a bunch of teenagers dry humping each other off.
But I do want to say this about that fight on Sunday. If that would have been me, and I'm facing that pretty boy in there, I would have knocked his punk ass out because I
wouldn't be holding him up to go and keep him steady and upright. No.
I'm sorry. You're fighting buddy freaking Mayweather. I would have knocked that dude out. He is not in his league, not by a long freaking shot.
No.
Showtime presents Dirty Dancing Live featuring Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul.
Please don't ruin that movie for me.
They had the time of their lives by stealing your money out of your pockets.
Oh, God. Now I got that stuck in my head. Oh, well, hey, look, it beats, call JG Wentworth 877 cash now. Now it's stuck in your heads, I hope.
I love it. I'm a commercial jingle nut, so you don't have to worry about that.
877 cash now.
See, I don't mind that one so much, just as a little quick aside before we get back to my one little Celtics one I want to talk about. Like, commercial jingles are fine and all. Like, I love up where I live up in New England. The John Sewer, John Sewer, we get the job done. It's a sewer drain company. That's all they do is they come in, they fix your clogged drains and pipes and a lot of plumbing stuff. There's a bunch of ones up here that have jingles like that are cool.
Yeah, for us we got Glenn Lerner, attorney. You're in a wreck, you need a check, call Glenn Lerner. Glenn Lerner is a lawyer for you. Call 222-2222. Such a classic here.
Well,
But
we had the giant glass commercials up here that were awesome to go and watch. Who do you call when your windshield's busted? Oh, I'm going down memory lane here.
dude, for us, 588-2300 Empire today.
Yeah, we had that one too. What's in that? One of the ones late, like the commercials nowadays, just pale in comparison to what they were previously. Like the Wendy's big bag, like they had the biggie bag, no free ads here. But they had the biggie bag. It's like $5. You get like a bacon double cheeseburger, nuggets, fries, whatever. It's a nice meal. But their commercial where the guy just like in a robotic auto-tune voice saying "bag alert," Wendy's bag alert, and it's like that gets stuck in my head so often.
We have two great infomercials back in the day, like commercials. One was Victory Auto Wreckers, where it was the guy would open up his car and the door would come off and he would get mad and then they would tow away his car, and then the logo was a T-Rex holding a car in his mouth and it would say Victory Auto Wreckers. And then we also had a Eagle Man, which was a classic here in the Chicagoland area. It was a guy in an eagle costume who drops on two girls' car's hood and goes, "I've got something for you." He lays a giant egg, and then the egg cracks open, and it's a baby eagle with rates for car insurance in his mouth.
I was fixing to say,
the lady goes, "Wow, look at those low rates."
I was fixing to say, Ezra, was that the egg they used for WWF Survivor Series 1990 when what's his face when Hector Guerrero hatched out of the freaking egg?
Oh, the gobbledygooker?
Yes, the gobbledygooker. Thank you.
Why did you have to bring that up?
The 2022 Royal Rumble winner?
I'm just saying, but anyway.
All right. I think we went up on this tangent.
Yeah, that was
Let's get back. Let's go to your point about the Celtics.
All right, so hello. We got a lot of comments on YouTube regarding the Suns and LeBron. So before I get to the Celtics, because I just happened to look at YouTube, let's go and read from Steve Logsden.
What's up, Steve?
He goes and writes, the Suns are playing lights out defense and crashing the boards, two fundamentals that the NBA haven't had in 8 to 10 years. No one locks out the paint like this Suns team. From the random times when I go and watch an NBA game and it happens to be the Suns, yeah, he's spot on with that.
Yes.
He goes and writes after, I'll agree with MJ as the best player, but Jordan took a lot of failed shots in double coverage. It used to drive me crazy to see Pippen and Kerr wide open with Jordan taking shots.
He's not
now,
wrong.
Hold on a minute. Are you trying to go and say that Michael Jordan maybe had an ego? They're sports players. They all have an ego. Even the ones who claim that they're selfless and they pass it to everybody. No, they're not. They claim themselves to be the best passer. That's an ego. Third comment. LeBron would have had 20 points with Bird's physicality on him. That seems high.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw Bird play live, obviously, since he was before my time. But having seen the highlights, that was a very physical guy. I think 20 points is a little high for LeBron.
And Kevin, and I'll bring this up too as well. How about those bad boy Detroit Piston teams? Whew!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my. Yeah. They would have crushed LeBron.
And then I think this one, Ezra, is for you. That lawyer has all twos in his number? Question mark?
Yes, he does, actually, but I think the only difference is his area code is 312, which is the Chicago area code. So I think it's but still, it is all 222-2222. Yes, it is. I answered the question into YouTube, but I will answer it here live on air for everybody else to hear. Since they care so much about a fucking lawyer commercial.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes those commercials are pretty good.
Let's not get off on this tangent again.
No, because I started drawing a blank on other commercials I remember from back in the day. So the new iMac commercials are aggravating because
Ugh.
like I like Lizzo. I think she's a great artist, but oh god, the song is just destroying my ears. Not as
And it,
bad as 1877 Cars for Kids
oh,
though.
gee. Okay. Back to sports, please.
Yep, we're going back to sports after that
If you
one.
even sing a note of that, we will kick you from this Zoom right now.
No. Though one of my so Brandon Merriweather used to play for the New England Patriots, a couple of the teams in the NFL, and he's got a funny way that he goes and talks, and he rolls with it. It's not like people make fun of him for it, but he goes and talks the way he talks, and it sounds like he's saying something else when he isn't.
Yeah.
So one of my Boston radio, sports talk radio, Tucker and Rich, on 95 the Sports Hub, they went and took the Cars for Kids ad, but they dropped in sound clips of Brandon Merriweather. So instead of 1877 Cars for Kids, it goes 1877 at that little kids, because they used clips of Brandon Merriweather when the Patriots went to London to play, I believe, the Buccaneers back in the very early 2010s. And it's a riot. They also went and took John Lackey when he used to play for the Boston Red Sox, and the way that he would talk, it just like the way that he spoke. They took the Phenomena song from the Muppet Show.
Oh, Lord.
Phenomena. It was a stone cold riot. They played it all the time when they put those out. It was great. Okay. Anyway, back to sports. So the Celtics, as we know, last week, Danny Ainge stepped down and retired, in quotes, as the president of basketball operations, and Brad Stevens has left as coach of the Celtics, and he has taken over Danny Ainge's old role in the Celtics front office. So Brad Stevens has been quick to get to work on trying to go and find the next head coach of the Boston Celtics. He has already interviewed, this according to an SI report from Madeline Coleman yesterday, that he's already interviewed his assistant coaches, and now he's expanding outside of the franchise for interviews. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, he has received permission to interview multiple head coaching candidates, including assistants Chauncey Billups of the LA Clippers, Darvin Ham and Charles Lee of the Milwaukee Bucks, Jamal Mosley of the Dallas Mavericks, and forgive me if I go and mispronounce this name, Ime Udoka of the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, everybody is still throwing the rumors around that Jason Kidd, Lakers assistant coach, and former Hawks coach Lloyd Pierce are potentially going to be up there. So with that said, the name that I want the most is Chauncey Billups. I've always liked how he played. I think it would be perfect because they need a coach who is going to be able to talk to the players and be able to get them to perform to the best of their ability.
Yes.
I really think like a younger coach who played, I know he hasn't played recently. He was drafted by the Celtics in '97, so obviously that's 24 years ago at this point. Excuse me. But he's going to know about about playing the game. He's going to be able to help the players out. The other names on the list, I like Charles Lee, I like Darvin Ham. Not sure, I don't know much about Jamal Mosley or Ime Udoka. Again, I still don't want Jason Kidd. He's a Celtic killer from when he was on the Nets. I don't want him. I don't like him. I think he's an ass. I don't want him. No.
No.
Far away from Celtics as possible.
But he has the disdain for Jason Kidd like I do for you too.
Nope, I don't want him. I still remember when he was.
Maybe they'll hire him on Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
And
God.
maybe he'll become their wonder wall.
If they get him into the organization, it'll be because of mysterious ways.
If Jason
what's
Kidd
wrong,
gets hired, you might as well just go and just say that I've just rust in peace.
What's wrong, Kevin? Even if Jason Kidd becomes the head coach of our basketball team, as far as us being fans, I mean, the guy was a hell of a player. I mean, come on. I mean,
That doesn't always translate into being a good coach, though.
Well,
I still remember. I
know.
think when he was coaching the
Cam
Bucks
going
or
to the New York
Nets.
Giants is a better shot than freaking Jason Kidd going to your team. So
Yeah. So I think it was
Make
when
it
he was
happen,
coaching
damn
the
it.
Bucks.
shut up,
I
Vince.
think there was one point where he
I
grabbed
got it.
a cup of water or a cup of beer or something, and he walked in front of one of the guys cleaning the floor, and it spilled, which caused another delay. And I think he got himself slapped for that.
Oh boy.
I'm like, I don't want that anywhere near here. Like,
But
there's certain
no,
forms of cheating I'm okay with. We can get to that in a little bit.
but
But
no,
I don't want Jason Kidd. I don't want that cheating. No, get away.
but I agree. You know, as far as the selections right now, as far as possibilities for candidates for head coach, Chauncey Billups is the best person to be your head coach because this guy has seen it all and he's done it all. He's won a championship. He's been to 2 NBA finals with the Detroit Pistons. He's been to 6 conference finals with the Pistons. It's stupidly insane how talented Billups was in the NBA. I mean, that guy played the point guard position, excellent. He was a great shooter, great passer, all around great player, hell of a guy, and a hell of a candidate to be the next coach for the Celtics.
Yes. I definitely would love to go and see Chauncey Billups, but that might not happen. We're unsure.
Oh, but I'm pretty sure if Jason Kidd was to become the head coach of the Celtics, we're going to be hearing about this the very minute on the next episode of our Nation Sports Show.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be top of the news headlining. Breaking news. Jason Kidd, head coach of the Boston Celtics.
And then breaking news, local Massachusetts man threatens to burn a bush. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe jump into traffic. Ooh, that gets ajar. I don't want Jason Kidd anywhere near me. I'd rather go play in traffic than to have Jason Kidd coaching the Boston Celtics. No thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need that much hate in my life.
And I tell you, oh, go ahead.
Yes. No. You were going.
And while we're also talking about the playoffs, I mean, the Clippers and the Mavericks had their series last week and in Game 7. Game 6 was obviously Friday. And Kawhi Leonard put the Clippers on his back, and he scored 45 points. And, man, that Game 7 was rather interesting because Luka Doncic once again had a hell of a game, scoring 37 points. But he didn't have the help besides Hardaway scoring 22. Porzingis didn't show up as well like he did in Game 5. He didn't show up in Game 6 or Game 7. Dallas needs to have better players around Doncic because Luka Doncic is one of the best point guards right now in the NBA. And he's one hell of a talent. And that kid has got years and years left in the basketball tank for him. And the Clippers obviously in the next round against the Jazz, and that Game 1 Tuesday was, that was fun. That was very fun. Talk about a interesting 2 separate halves by Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell was struggling in the first half, and then he came back to life in the second half. And it was an all-around great game, and that defense stopped George and Leonard from tying the game with a three-pointer by blocking the shot, winning the game 112-109. And Game 2 is obviously tomorrow night back in Utah, and we'll see how the Clippers respond. And yeah, it should be a very interesting series with that because any team in that series can win. The Jazz can win or the Clippers can win.
Mm-hmm. All right. So before we go move on to our next topic of conversation, anybody got any of the final thoughts regarding the NBA playoffs or even the NHL playoffs, just in case there was anything final from there?
Really the only thing I expect. Oh, well, I actually do. I know you usually do your score update, Kevin, but I couldn't wait for this one.
I was about
right.
to go and do my score update.
Okay, then never mind. We will hold that for your segment.
Okay.
But otherwise, I just think that both sets of playoffs, NHL and NBA, are really super competitive, and I think this is one of the more exciting playoffs on both sides of the coin that we've had in a good long while. I think, in my opinion,
Yes.
where it's unpredictable, where you don't know who's going to win. Where some of these playoffs are like last year with the Lakers, or the year before with the Lakers, they're riding so much momentum, they're gonna, blah 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 blah. But both sides, both sides are unpredictable on both conferences, on both sports. So I'm excited. We'll see.
It's going to be very fun for the finish because, man, we're just getting started. And the great part about it is these playoffs started at such a late juncture. Usually the NBA Finals is happening right now, and usually the Stanley Cup Finals is happening right now. That stuff won't be happening until July. So let's go, baby.
Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. You don't want the finish to happen too early.
Is generally ending about now. The NBA Finals is usually starting, or at least a game or two in by this point in June. But obviously, last two seasons have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, global pandemic. Bleep show that this is. So it's a little bit screwy, but the NBA, in a league memo sent out by Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, they did go and say that I believe October 21st, 22nd will be the start of next season.
Well, that right there is going to put it back on the normal juncture of starting on time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we will go to the score updates and get this, guys. Right now, in the first quarter, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets are playing, and the Milwaukee Bucks are spanking the Brooklyn Nets by a score of 22-9.
Wow.
There's 3:25 left in quarter number 1 in that game. And later tonight, 10 p.m., both games on ESPN. The LA Clippers and the Utah Jazz out in Salt Lake City, 10 p.m. on ESPN. The NHL, no games tonight. Everything is pretty much wrapped up. Actually, I lied. There is a game tonight.
There is a game tonight.
And hopefully it's a good one. 9 p.m. tonight, Colorado at Vegas. Avalanche and the Golden Knights go and play. Vegas has a 3-2 series lead. They hope to go and clinch it tonight.
You talk about a raucous crowd. That's going to be a raucous crowd.
It'll be a very raucous crowd, though. I will tell you this. Vegas fans eventually will be able to determine what to actually cheer for, because right now, they're so young as a hockey town that the puck gets dumped in on your standard shift change and they go wild. It's like, guys, The puck is just getting dumped in for a shift change. You don't need to cheer this. They'll eventually get it. But for now, it creates a great atmosphere. I love it. If necessary, Colorado is able to go into Vegas tonight and win. It'll be going back to Denver for Game 7. That will be on Saturday, June 12th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And again, tonight's game between the Avalanche and the Golden Knights is on at 9 p.m. on NBC SN. Or if you happen to be listening in Canada, CBC.
Yep.
Sportsnet. Most likely Sportsnet as well.
Yep.
So to the NBA, we have finals today in the free YouTube game of the day. Every Thursday, MLB TV, or not MLB TV, the MLB goes and shows a game on YouTube for free. That game today was the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Los Angeles Dodgers defeated the Pittsburgh Pirates by a score of 6-3, a final in 8 due to a rain delay. The Brewers defeated the Reds 7-2. The Atlanta Braves lost in 10 innings to the Philadelphia Phillies 4-3. The Detroit Tigers beat the Seattle Mariners 8-3. One game postponed tonight, the San Francisco Giants and Washington Nationals. I did not go and see why they were postponed. I would imagine due to rain. However, I am not sure. And it looks like Saturday, June 12th will be the makeup. They'll do a day-night doubleheader, obviously 7 innings due to COVID, 2:05 start time.
Interesting.
2 games are currently ongoing. In the Go and refresh. In the top of the third, the Boston Red Sox are leading the Houston Astros by a score of 2-1. They currently have one man on base with 2 outs for Houston in the top of the third. The top of the fourth, the Miami Marlins are on top 6-0 over the Colorado Rockies. This is off of 3 home runs in the game for Miami. The Toronto Blue Jays are in Chicago to face the White Sox. They are in a warm-up right now. That game is scheduled to start within the next minute or two. Same thing with the New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins out in Minneapolis. At 9:40 tonight, the last game of the night will be the Kansas City Royals heading into Oakland to play the Athletics. Game time at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's your score update. Ezra, did I go and cover the score that you were wanting to go and talk about?
Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks game. That's what I was gonna, because that was
Okay, all right.
yeah, because
Good.
that was the one I was gonna say, because the way it's starting off has got me so invested already.
Good. So, I have because I no free ads. I have MLB TV. They have currently. I got the Miami Marlins Colorado Rockies game on. Those 3 home runs were excellent. Jazz Chisholm Jr. into the upper deck, the second deck down in Miami. Adam Duvall again hits a home run. It's amazing. I'm loving it. And now I see Charlie Blackmon, who really has transformed himself into the first Pirate baseball player with his long hair and flowing big beard. Great. Oh, all right. So that's your score update. As always, you can go and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Not MySpace because that's for old people. At Our Nation Sports Show, just go and put it into the search bar. And make sure you go and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, all that jazz. Go and do it, please. Pretty please. Sure on top. Please.
We need to hit 100 subscribers.
We need to get that custom URL,
man. That 100 first. So, that concludes our score update. So I guess I know that, Steven, you went and talked about Julio Jones, and I would like to go and talk about the pitchers and spider tack in the MLB. Which one would you like to go and talk about first?
Well, you know what? Since we're on baseball, let's go with baseball first.
Okay. So everybody here knows that in baseball, there is a level of cheating that is acceptable. Deciphering signs of the opposing team to go and figure out what's what. Pitch is going to be what sign it is for stealing, what sign it is for a certain defensive shift. Everybody knows that if you do that with the naked eye, it's perfectly fine. It's all fair game because the other team's doing the same thing. When you decipher it electronically, either with Apple Watches like the Red Sox and Yankees have caught with, or TVs and trash cans like the Houston Astros got caught with, that is cheating, and that's bad. Yeah. So currently, pitchers and batters are able to go and use pine tar. Pine tar is just able to go and help with your grip on the bat and go and help with the pitcher's grip on the ball. Perfectly legal. Everybody uses it. Nobody cares. Batters really don't care if the pitchers use pine tar. Sunscreen is also kind of allowed as well for pitchers, at least with the pine tar. But it's when spider tack is involved or substances that help with spin rate. That magical word that used to set me off that now I look at and go, no, a lot of pitchers are trying to hit for spin rate now. And
your lovely stat people that you love so much.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, not so much. So
Confused.
Why do you do this to me? Why do you guys do this to me?
Because we know what pushes your buttons there, Kevin. Stat nerds.
Analytical nerds that, oh, hey, this guy hits 206, but he hits 45 home runs. And
hi, Jagger, if you're listening to this,
times.
sorry, we got to cancel your segment so Kevin can go on an hour-long rant on stat nerds.
I don't need an hour-long rant on this. I can get this across in a minute or two. And I think I did for the most part. So, spider tack is a big to do right now. Spider tack is a sticky substance. It is on the Spider Tack website. Spider Tack is a super sticky paste for improving grip on Atlas stones. It comes in heavy, competition grade, and light. This is the stuff that's used in a lot of strongman competitions to go and help with grip on those heavy Atlas stones. But there's baseball players who are using it on the ball for a better spin rate. The RPM of the ball goes up a little bit more because they have a lot more grip and control, because the spider tack is, like it said on the site, a super sticky substance. Well, there's been a few minor league baseball players who have gotten whacked for 10 games, pitchers, for having illegal substances on their glove and body in uniform. So now a lot of major league pitchers are starting to get away from that stuff. Trevor Bauer, a few years ago, went and said, hey, hello, guys, everybody's doing this. Should you do something about this? When the MLB office basically ignored him, he went and created his own version of a sticky substance that he uses, and that's why he's one of the best pitchers out there. Garrett Cole had a very, in a question that really is only a yes or no, are you using spider tack? And he paused. He looked like he had frozen on the Zoom and said, I don't know. How in the fark knuckle do you not know if you're using an illegal substance or not? Oh, wait, I know how you know. Because you are using an illegal substance, because
Why?
you go and say to a yes or no
Why?
answer, a yes or no question, and you say, I don't know, you're using it.
When you sit there and say, oh, I'm not using that, when you hear somebody say, I'm not using it, or I didn't do something, when they say, I swear to God, I didn't do this, or I'm not using that, that is a crock of crap, because we know that you are using it. Oh, I'm not using a substance. Bullshit. You are using a substance to get ahead of the game. Come on. Don't lie. At least tell the truth, because telling the truth is better than telling a freaking lie. Come on.
Yeah. Look, the truth hurts, but the lie is going to hurt more once it's found out to be a lie.
Exactly. Because if Cole gets busted with the substance that we're talking about, that's not going to look good for him.
Well, speaking of the substance, he was using it, and then all of a sudden in his last start, his spin rate was down 18%.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because, these guys got a little scared and freaked out that, maybe I'm gonna get checked.
Oh my God, guys, you know what? We had a great run this year with these no-hitters, man, but unfortunately, I think it's gonna come to an end. Why is that? Well, boss, we just got caught because now we're in the freaking shit because we got caught using an illegal substance, basically. Well, damn it, you shouldn't have been doing it.
Pretty much. That's pretty much how.
Why does baseball have to break the freaking rules all the time? It's always baseball 95% of the time. Yeah, football has done some shady stuff. Come on, it's always baseball. Give me a break, guys. Do you see the NFL teams doing this horse shit all the time? No. Do you see the NBA doing this horse shit? No, because it's a team sport. Baseball is a team sport. You should not be using illegal substances to get ahead of the game, because if you're good enough, you don't need that illegal stuff to get ahead of the competition. Come on. This is ridiculous. When you sit there and you're given a question, do you use it or not? Answer the question, yes or no. Don't sit there and say, oh, I don't know. We know you're using this, Cole. Quit lying to the fans of the baseball of your baseball organization, and lying to every fan in the MLB that supports baseball. The game needs to grow, and it's not going to grow if these players continue to use illegal substances to get ahead of the damn freaking game. This is ridiculous. It's asinining. This is stupid, and it needs to stop. And you need to have a commissioner that is able to see through this crap. This is ridiculous. They've always have had people running the ship, and they're not accepting the blame on what they need to do to make the game better. This is why the NBA is more popular in ways than the MLB. This is why the NHL is more popular than MLB. And this is sure as hell why the NFL is more popular than MLB, is because 95% of the time, those teams in those sports play the game fair. What did Herm Edwards say years ago? You play to win the game. If you are trying hard, you're going to probably succeed. But the fact that these baseball players continue to do cheating, tactical bullshit tactics to try to win the game, it is ridiculous, and it needs to stop.
Yep.
Bullshit. Ooh,
Well said.
I'm not
Well
using
said.
it. I'm not using it.
This issue, and especially Cole lying about this stuff.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's morally, it's deflating. It's like a Tom Brady football.
I mean, come on.
But,
See, I say 95% of the time. That's another thing. Years ago, when Brady said, "Oh, I didn't deflate balls," well, then how the fuck did you blow out the Colts in 2015 AFC Championship game? Come on. And when Jackson intercepted that pass and he felt the ball, he's like, "Well, geez, I don't know, boss. This looks like a deflated ball." I got it. It's deflated. You know what? We're going to suspend Brady. Boss, that is a phenomenal idea. Well, fuck it. Suspend the greatest quarterback of all time. Suspend his ass. See, 95% of the time, folks, these players are not doing shady crap. But the MLB continues to do this, and this needs to stop. This is why even boxing at times has failed, because they don't have people running that, sport that knows what the hell's going on, because these boxers probably are doing some of the shady stuff as well. But I don't know. I don't run a sports organization. I'm not a owner of a sports league or a fighting competition like MMA or boxing. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just a fan that's passionate like you guys are about sports. This illegal tactical stuff needs to come to an end now. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen anytime soon, because time and time again, like the Astros cheating to win the World Series in 2017 against the Dodgers, banging on those freaking trash cans, and all these teams that have done tactics to get ahead of the game, they will continue to do this until they get caught, and then they go to the next thing that they can try to use for the time being to not get caught. Give me a freaking break. I'm done.
It's ridiculous how far the whole, like these cheating scandals and all this using illegal substances like the spider tack have gotten. I mean, if you're gonna lie, either A, be good about it, or B, just tell the fucking truth.
Tell the truth. I'd rather you tell the truth, because if you sit there and lie about it, you're making it as big as Pinocchio's nose.
But yeah, let's not go over that. I have 1,000 jokes for that, but we'll leave that alone for now. What it is that they just got to come out with it, because whether it's using spider tack, whether it's using performance enhancing drugs, whether it's the whole, Deflategate scandal, whether it's freaking the Astros stealing signs.
Oh, what was
just
the
come,
other one?
come freaking clean.
What was the other one? Bountygate, the Saints.
Bountygate, yeah.
Well, that was terrible.
Freaking
sitting there lying
clean.
about that shit. Give me a break. You did it.
That should have been a felony.
I'm
Williams
sorry.
should have been arrested and sent to prison for that.
I mean, there is
And I don't
evidence.
care, Saints fans, if you think that the NFL's coming after you.
I mean, when Greg Williams is saying, knock him the fuck out. Knock him out. Give me a break. I mean, Sean Payton years ago, when he lied about that, I remember listening to Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio and listening to Chris Russo and all of these guys going off about this and telling them you shouldn't be lying. And now we're years down the line from Bountygate in 2011, 2012, whatever that year that was, when that came out. And now you got these people in baseball using this bullshit, to get ahead of the game. and Cole Wyand. Oh, I'm not using it. I don't know. Come on, dude. When you say again, I don't know, we keep beating this dead horse, but we're going to keep saying it until something happens. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. And to go back to Brady, y'all realize that after Jackson went and intercepted that deflated ball, that the Patriots beat that snot out of the Colts and then won the Super Bowl and then proceeded to go and rip off 2 more Super Bowl wins and 3 more appearances.
Yep.
So honestly, Jackson, Colts, the Colts organization, the Ravens organization for tipping the Colts off to it. Thanks for helping us out and figuring out that the balls we were using were defective. Thank you. Thank you for the success.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just thank you for your service. All I got to say about that.
The Patriots salute you, Ravens and Colts.
Suspending Brady 4 games. Yeah, that worked out for it in the end. I still remember watching that press conference of after Super Bowl 51 and Roger Goodell handing Brady the MVP award. And Goodell just like, yeah, 3 cheers for Tom. Yeah.
That was Brady's FU World Tour.
I need to get off this stage now or he's going to kill me. And Brady's probably thinking, my God, he's pissing himself.
That was Brady's FU World Tour to the entire league in the NFL that year.
He is still on this FU World Tour. It's just more from, you're going to suspend me 4 games? Okay, fine. I'll prove it to you. To now, I'm 43 going on 44. I'll prove that I'm still the best in the game.
Yep.
It's morphed.
Yep.
So I do have the full quote from Garrett Cole when he was asked about Spider Tack.
Oh, shit.
I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest. If MLB wants to legislate some more stuff, that's a conversation that we can have. But it's the fact that he paused for a solid few seconds before he said, I don't quite know how to answer that. It's a yes or no question. Are you using Spider Tack? Say no with a straight face. Or admit it. Oh, that was a great catch. Wow. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, no, the 10 wild salute for that catch. Please don't actually do 10 of them in a row. It was funny once. That's it.
Quick score update, Kevin.
Quick score. Oh, are you still following the
I'm watching the White Sox Blue Jays game.
Oh, what's the score right now?
3-0 in the bottom of the first.
Woo.
Nice.
Brady had an RBI double, and then Grandal came up and hit a 2-run homer.
Nice.
That's nice. I like that.
Ooh,
so hey, we got some comments from Steve Logsdon.
Of course.
Let's see. One from 810
What's up, Steve?
said the Islanders are seemingly the luckiest team in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. They've been outshot by almost double every series. Yeah, that's that. Game 5, especially, where like the Bruins had 40 shots and 3 goals, but the Islanders had like 22 shots on 5 goals. I'm like, how is this possible? But they've had some of the luckiest rebounds to play. Yet that's also correct. And the other thing I didn't go and mention, it also helps when the refs, basically like the Bruins just go and poke a player and they get whacked with a minor penalty. The Islanders, can go and stab somebody with a stick and the ref goes, well, the ref is, blind to it. What's the other way? I didn't want to out and out say it, Steven. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I totally get it. Hey, Trevor, you blind? Apparently I am.
Yeah, no, it's like the ref should go and talk to a buddy of mine about the blindness. He'll be able to give them some pointers. So, but it wasn't just, I'm not the Boston sports fan that goes, the refs were the sole reason we lost. No. There were much bigger problems.
Thank you. At
than
least
the
you're
refs.
a reasonable Boston fan. You're not one of those assholes that goes, "Oh, we lost because of the freaking referees." Man, shut up. You played to win the game.
Yeah. You know, there are times where, like Patriots Chiefs a few years ago, when N'Keal Harry clearly was not out of bounds,
Yes.
and they called him out of bounds, and then it was a non-reviewable play. You know, that one, yeah, the refs cost us the game on that one.
Yep.
But at the same time, the Patriots could have been playing better throughout that game. You know, I fortunately, when I was in college for a broadcast journalism degree, I interned at the Eagle Tribune Sports Desk in North Andover, Massachusetts, and they were able to go and teach me how to be kind of down the middle about a lot of things. So when I'm watching with family and friends, and they're like, "Oh my God, that should have been a penalty. Oh my God, they need to throw him out of the game." I'll watch that
Right.
same play and go, "No, that's a penalty.
Yep.
That's how it was supposed to be called."
Yep.
There's some I don't agree with because, you know, like that seems a little ticky tack. That seems a little like, why are we going to call that one? You know, but referees are consistently inconsistent, and that's probably the best we're ever going to get.
Yes.
So in regards to our spider tack discussion, he said no sport cheats more than baseball. Yeah, because again, like I said, deciphering signs with your naked eye, with you know, just like watching the guy's signs, the opponent's signs, that's a perfectly acceptable form of cheating.
Exactly.
Pine tar on the handle of the baseball bat to go and help the batter have better grip on the bat and it doesn't fly out of his hands, or a pitcher using pine tar on the ball to get a little bit of a better grip, that is perfectly acceptable. What's not acceptable is when you're electronically trying to figure out signs, or when you're using spider tack to go and get better grip and spin rate on the ball. And then he said, I disagree. I believe, Stephen and Ezra, this was your comments about getting cheating out of baseball entirely. I want everyone competing and cheating in baseball. I want HGH ridden hunchback stepping up to the plate against a pitcher holding a bottle of Murphy's oil soap. My man, thank you. That gold star comment right there. Oh, awesome. Love it. Bring
Perfect.
steroids
Love
back.
it.
Bring the supplements, HGH, all of it. Let's make baseball fun again. Let's go.
Well, okay. Now, to be fair, I will say this. Steroids with the home runs, yeah, that was fun. But as far as using illegal substances, as far as with the spider tactics and all that, you know, stupid stuff, steroids, come on. Admit it, baseball. That was your best era.
Oh, it definitely was.
I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, that's kind of. I mean, they're taking whatever. I mean, you know, I'm not going to get mad at that. You know what? If baseball wants ratings again, you got to bring back the steroids. You have to, but everything else has to go.
And you know what? It doesn't even have to be as, and again, that's the best way to go and to describe it. HGH ridden hunchback stepping up to the plate. It doesn't have to be that. You can have supplements and vitamins nowadays that can go and do the same thing that HGH and steroids were able to go and do back in the day without the nasty side effects of steroids. So I just like, bring it all back. Let them cheat. No spider tack. Like the illegal substances, the scientifically made ones. Get those out. I don't want to see those.
But steroids, come on. You know,
Steroids, because the pitchers were having steroids. I mean, remember Roger Clemens misremembered that he was on steroids. Remember that, guys. He misremembered it. Andy Pettit admitted
you know what?
to it
I'm
in
not
that
even gonna count steroids as cheating. They're taking shit to boost their play. I get that. That's fine. Whatever. But as far as using illegal things like stealing signs the illegal way, or taking stuff to make you grip the bat better or the ball better, that is not allowed.
No, it shouldn't be allowed. At least the spider tack. Pine tar, perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
All right. So, if we had, do you guys have any final thoughts regarding baseball, spider tack, cheating, Garrett Cole being an idiot?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good on that front there, Kevin.
Okay. So, next item of business that we wanted to go and talk about, especially what was talked about in the intro video, is the big NFL news. There's actually two. This one we'll go and cover very quickly. Aaron Rodgers did not show up to mandatory minicamps for the first time in his career. That's really the only news regarding Aaron Rodgers, and it's news that I don't think a lot of people really care all that much about. Since we all just seem to know the writing on the wall is that he is either going to retire or he's going to cave and play one more season and then retire.
Uh-oh.
Hey, look at this.
I was just sending him a message. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the man himself joining our Nation Sports Show. Our brother from another mother, Nation Night Fight host, and one of the baddest dudes on this planet covering sports. Hijacker Mike. What's up, brother?
What's up, y'all? Man, I'm riding home from work. I wanted to catch y'all while I'm in traffic. What's going on?
What's up, man? How you
What's up?
doing?
Yeah, man, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. My kids' baseball season has had me tied up for the whole month and all of May and into June. As they quick recap on this season, I'm sure some of y'all seen his first home run of his Little League career on Facebook about a week and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
They just won the second half of the season, beating the team that beat them twice earlier this year, the Blue Jays, which my son is on the Fremont Little League Cubs. So they beat the Blue Jays after losing their first two games of the Blue Jays. So now they play a playoff game next week against the Blue Jays to determine the champion of the league.
Sweet.
Very nice. Very nice.
Dig it.
Very nice. Yeah, man. And Nation Night Fights is taking a little break for a while during the baseball season for my kid. But once his season's done by the end of June, Nation Night Fights will be back online with the Nation, with the On Sports show here.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Can't wait to have it back, brother.
So, hijacker. So we were just talking about the illegal substances in baseball, with the spider tag.
Okay. What you got?
We were just talking about how I believe his name is Cole, right? Kevin?
Yeah, Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole was basically asked if he was using spider tag, and he basically froze up on a Zoom call and said, No,
because I don't know.
Because his spin rate was
he
super.
Went and said, I don't know.
He said, I don't know. His spin rate was super high, but then after that, all of a sudden his spin rate dropped. So we were talking about after he was on that Zoom call.
Oh no, this was after the Zoom call was after the spin rate dropped. His previous start, he had a very high spin rate. I don't know the exact numbers because it's one of those things I just refuse to go and look up exact numbers of spin rate on the ball. But it dropped significantly. He still pitched well because it's Garrett Cole. He is still a great pitcher, but it wasn't $324 million contract Garrett Cole. It was probably more like a 280 Garrett Cole. And his answer, just like to a yes or no question, hijacker.
I don't know.
Are you using spider tack? That's a yes or a no. And he froze for about 5 seconds and then went, I don't know how to answer that.
Well, check this out. Did he get that? What is it called? Spider tag?
Yes.
Did he get that from an associate in a trash can?
Yeah.
If you catch the pun.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be very interesting for him to do that because I can't remember when the last time the Yankees and the Astros played, but yeah, that'd be a good coincidence.
2018, 2019, something like that. Yeah.
No, they definitely played earlier this season. I just can't remember when exactly.
I'm talking about in the playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs, it was
back when
I
the
think,
games mattered.
2019, the year the Washington Nationals won.
Yes. No, but
Yeah.
I went on a rant about how 95% of the times you don't see other sports cheating. Now, I did say baseball needs to stop cheating, and I know, I said they need to stop cheating altogether. Now, however, I agree with Steve and PA's comments that steroids and all that stuff is fine because let's face it, guys, everybody and their mother took steroids that played baseball back in that era. And they still turn out to be Hall of Fame players. So that right there needs to be acknowledged. But this illegal spider tactic, all this other stuff, banging on trash cans and stealing signs that way, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
If you want to get juiced up, that's up to you. Juiced up to you and use steroids, fine, knock your socks off. I don't care. But using illegal substances, no, sir.
The thing is, if you want to use steroids, you got to pay the consequences yourself. Yeah, you may be the superstar for today using steroids, but you got to pay the consequences in your 50s and 60s later on in life when you can't take them no more, or there's no need to take them, or your body gives out. Look at Lyle Alzado, John Matuzak.
Yep.
Who else we had that were on those? Doggone it. There's another guy, Brian Bosworth. You know what I mean? We have several high caliber named players over the years that took it, and look where it got them, man.
Yeah, that's why
Bosworth,
I'm not gonna,
No, go ahead.
That's why I'm not going to count the steroids as quote unquote cheating because they took it. They took it because they knew if they take it, it'll probably make them a better player. And the majority of the time, the players that did take it, it did make them a better as far as player with their performances. But at the same time, when you take steroids, it has the consequences that you're going to pay, like you said, when you hit your 50s and 60s, because your body is aging.
Yeah. And there's no need for you to take that stuff when you're not playing. So when your body doesn't get that drug again, it's going to shut down because it's like, hey, man, you're pumping this stuff into me 4 or 5 times a week or however they did that.
Yep.
Your body's going to crave it and need it, and you'll see what happens. A lot of these guys get real thin real quick without that steroid.
Yep.
Look at baseball players. Pitchers with injuries to their arms need the steroid, a certain type of steroid to heal. And Major League Baseball tells them, no, you cannot use that. Or if you do use it, you must be off of it for, 6 months, 4 months? I'm not sure, but there's a time frame. They'll tell a lot of these pitchers that have certain arm injuries that they have to be off of the drug before they can come back and pitch again.
Yep. But that was our huge discussion before you came in,
Gotcha. Okay. Well, no, yeah, man. I love baseball. I'm pretty much all about baseball besides boxing and stuff. So, I haven't really had a chance. I just can't catch up on scores. I have to get back into the dig of things. But when the kid's playing, it's like all my focus is with him and making sure his swing is right and his fielding's right and stuff. So once his season's done here in the next week to 2 weeks, then I will be back. Hell, I might even try to jump on with you guys for a couple of episodes and talk, some other sports outside of boxing. But I wanted to jump on with you guys real quick and talk about, the fight everybody was waiting for this past weekend. Mr. Logan Paul versus Mr. Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, we maybe spent maybe a minute or two on it earlier, and I'm like, we're gonna wait. I just hope he, I don't even know if I really want to call that a boxing fight.
Well, dude, you got a guy that's 189 pounds going up against a GOAT legend of Mayweather. I know a lot of people have their opinions, which is fine, but the man hasn't been beat in 50 fights. You go up and you fight a guy that's 40 pounds more than you when Mayweather's 147 pounds. And now Mayweather put some gloves on him. Paul got a couple of good hits in there, but the big guys caught Floyd's interview. He says he makes bank robbing look easy. If you guys caught that interview where he freaking robs Banks, with his fighting skills and the way he promotes, does what he does. If you guys caught that interview,
Right.
I think about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, they put on the fight was, it wasn't what I expected. I thought someone was going to be knocked down. Hell, I was more interested in the Brian Maxwell and Chad Ochocinco fight when Johnson got knocked down with seconds left in the 4th round in his debut loss. But Floyd went in there and he gave Logan his respects and said, hey, he's a better fighter than I expected and I thought. So I don't know if that's to blow smoke or pump Logan up, but I'm still not sold. Logan's a big dude. 189 pounds isn't a small fighter. That's light heavyweight. So I want to see him get in the ring with someone that can go. There's several guys up there he can get in the ring against. Hell, he can get in the ring against Canelo. I don't know if he ain't gonna be able to go with Canelo. Canelo will put him down. Someone his exact weight will put him down. He fought Floyd. Floyd did this for a publicity stunt and money. But fight someone in your weight class when you're ready, because he ain't ready. But if you want to fight someone to make some money, get in there against Alvarez, Charlo, a couple other guys. I'm drawing blanks right now.
What
but
about
there's
a
some
Triple
guys
G?
you can get in the Triple G. Yeah, you can get in there with Triple G. There's a couple guys. I have to look at my list because I'm on the road running right now, so I'm drawing blanks. Start making some money fight. Stop fighting ex-NBA players. Stop fighting for like yourself. You want to fight? Put the gloves on and fight. But I want to see him fight someone that's worth a damn.
Exactly, because when he fought Nate Robinson, I'm like, dude, what the hell? Come on, dude. Like you're fighting a guy who's a small player, especially back in his days with the Knicks and the Celtics and all that stuff. And he knocked him out. No shocker, because he's a smaller guy. If you want to fight somebody your own size or even a little bit bigger than you. Come on.
Yeah, definitely, man. Nate played, 14 years or so in the NBA?
Yes.
So you're looking at a guy that's in his mid to late 30s fighting a kid that, what is Logan, in his early 20s?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
This dude has his whole career ahead of him. And you're fighting a guy that's basically 15 years older than you. So, you gotta figure out, you know what I mean? You're fighting a guy that's older than you. It doesn't matter because guys in their 20s have fought guys in their 40s all the time. But when you got a guy that knows what he's doing like Mayweather, and I expected Mayweather to put some gloves on him. I didn't expect him to knock him down because he had the weight on him. But I expected a better show. But they pulled over 1 million pay-per-views, so they made money off of this fight at $49.
I'm surprised.
You know what I mean?
I'm not surprised that Mayweather made his money, but I'm surprised that the pay-per-view drew the buy rate that it did. Because come on, that's not a fair fight. When you're fighting a guy who's won 50 plus fights, who has not lost his entire professional career, and a guy that is doing this as a publicity stunt and not taking himself serious. Now, granted, yes, Paul's a better fighter than I am because I've never trained in the boxing world. But at the same time, if he goes up against a guy that is the same size as him or is 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 pounds more weight than him, he is going to end up flat on his back looking up at the referee's 10 count.
Definitely. And I think what it was, people were honestly thinking that Logan Paul was going to knock out Mayweather, and a lot of the Mayweather haters wanted to see that happen.
It wasn't going to happen.
No, Mayweather's skilled. Mayweather's been in that ring 50 times, and I don't know how many times as an amateur before that in the 90s. Dude, he was fighting before Logan was even born.
And not just that, bro, but the fact that this guy was training to be a professional boxer. It's in his blood. It's in his genes. That's Floyd Mayweather's passion, is to be a professional boxer. And he did it. He succeeded. He's made a lot of money for the sport of boxing. He's a recognized figure in boxing, and he's probably the most recognizable figure since the late, great Muhammad Ali. And obviously the great Manny Pacquiao during his years or in his younger days in the 2000s.
Definitely. I only got to see Floyd Mayweather fight once in San Francisco. It was either 2000, 2001 at the beginning of his career. I don't even think he had 10 wins under his belt. He came out here and he fought, I believe it was at the Cow Palace, if I remember right. And he put on a show. He caught my eye, and that's when I first heard of him. And I was a fan ever since. Yeah, I know everybody does their quirky shit. Mike Tyson, Holyfield,
Yeah,
Roy
everybody
Jones Jr.
has their own quirky games. That's what makes these guys, unique in the ring. You have to have a character, and Mayweather has a character. And I think Logan Paul is just trying too hard to be a character. He's not natural at it. He hasn't been training his whole life to be a professional boxer. It's not in his genes. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a passionate person to be a fighter, because he's obviously better than we are. But as far as wanting to be better, wanting to be a better skilled fighter with the techniques and the technicalities when it comes to being on the defense, light on your feet, and aware of what's going on in the ring. And knowing how to throw the jab, or when to go for the uppercuts and go for the big punches. You got to know how to be skilled in those regards. And I think, can Paul do it? Maybe, but he has to try even harder.
Yeah, definitely. Shit, I wish he would have went to the ring in his Mario Brothers outfit with his brother Luigi with Jake Paul, man. They should have went to the ring in that shit.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then Mayweather could be freaking Bowser. Let's go. Let's go.
But other than that, I'll keep an eye on Logan Paul's future and see where he goes. But to me, no disrespect for the guy, but I just feel he's a gimmick boxer, and it just takes the taste out of my mouth, because you got all these guys that have died in this career, busted their ass in this career, and then you get some guy like him just jumping up and getting fame and making money in the scene because he's bigger, badder than these guys he's fighting. But who the hell, like you said, Stephen, who the hell is he fighting?
He's fighting nobodies. I mean, you're fighting a retired basketball player in Nate Robinson, the guy who played with the Knicks, the Celtics, Chicago, etc. And the guy had a good basketball career. And he was never trained to be a professional boxer. When that fight was announced for the Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. card, I was like, what? Second of all, why? And third of all, how? How is this even possible? This is ridiculous. This is why boxing has gone down the shitter that it has in the past several years, because it can't be taken serious because of guys like Logan Paul and his brother.
Definitely. Well, now I want to ask Ezra a question.
What's up?
You're the MMA guru, right? You're the MMA guru.
Okay.
Now, with MMA guys crossing over like Conor fighting Mayweather, and then even Askren when he fought Jake Paul not too long ago.
Yep.
How hard do you think it is for these guys to transfer over? I understand they're tactic fighting out there, kicking, punching, but is it that hard to switch over from MMA fighting to get in the boxing ring, putting on the leather?
To me, I think it's harder only because of the certain reflexes of an MMA fighter. They're used to kicking, throwing knees, taking people to the ground, throwing elbows. Those are a lot of reflexes that they have to shut down when they're inside of a boxing ring. It could be a mental thing, it could be a body thing, but also a lot of these, like for instance, Ben Askren or even Conor McGregor, they are not boxers. What I'm talking about is they don't have a great boxing pedigree. You see a lot of fighters, they're one-dimensional. They only know one skill, whether it be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whether it be kickboxing, whether it be Taekwondo. You got to get – if you want a legitimate MMA guy to come over to the boxing world, it has to be a guy who has a great boxing pedigree as an MMA fighter. A Nick Diaz could do it because he is one of the best boxers in the entire MMA world. Nate Diaz could even do it. Because those brothers are known for their boxing skills at the Gracie.
Stockton.
Yeah, they can all go in there and throw hands.
And he makes his return to the octagon this Saturday night.
Yes, he does.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Okay. Well, that'll be a match to keep an eye on right there, man.
I think like I said, hijacker. I think it's just a matter of two things. It's the reflexes of an MMA fighter trying to keep those other reflexes in check. And then also having the boxing pedigree when you step into there with these guys who do nothing but box.
And it's
Yeah.
it's like Ezra was just saying about crossing over between MMA to boxing. It's like, even in professional wrestling with these guys that have gone from professional wrestling to MMA, it was successful for Brock Lesnar, but it was not successful
Yeah.
for a guy like CM Punk, because CM Punk went in there and thinking that, oh, I can easily switch over from professional wrestling to MMA. And look what happened, especially in his first fight. He got embarrassed. He
But-
came
but-
out of the
Yeah.
corner. He came out of the corner aggressive with that wild punch, missed it terribly, and the guy saw the wide open gaping hole, and he took him down to the ground and immediately tapped him out, made him look like a fool. So
But
yeah.
Steven, in his defense, there is a huge difference between Brock Lesnar and CM Punk. Brock Lesnar was already a 2-time Division I
This is true.
wrestling champion.
This
He
is
has
true.
one of the skills already to become an elite MMA fighter, which
This
is
is true.
This is a grade A wrestling background. CM Punk was a guy who trained a little bit in Kembo karate and Muay Thai kickboxing for his pro wrestling career.
Yep.
He's not saying Punk isn't an athlete by any stretch of imagination, but he wasn't an athlete that is credible to the MMA world, where
I'll tell
Brock
you a
already
guy-
had the wrestling pedigree, which already made him dangerous. He just had to get his striking down.
I'll tell you a guy who could probably do both if he was still active in fighting, today. One of the baddest fighters on the planet, Randy Couture.
Oh, absolutely.
Randy Couture could do it all.
Hey, hijacker, I wanted to ask you about
What's up?
this the fight that was just announced last week, and that was that Manny Pacquiao coming back to the boxing ring to take on Errol Spence Jr. on August 21st. This will be Pacquiao's first fight in 25 months. And not only that, he's taking on a guy who's 27-0 with 21 knockouts on his professional record.
Whew.
Wow. That's going to be a good fight. And you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing that fight's going to be in Vegas the same weekend SummerSlam's going to be in Vegas, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, that's right.
That's what I'm hearing. So
Well, if that's the case, that's a hell of a weekend.
Yes, they're going to be at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Vegas. And SummerSlam, let me check the date on that real quick. SummerSlam 2021 will be, it will be the same day.
You got 15,000 people going there, and then you got 70,
75
80,
plus
90,000
going to
to the stadium over there. I don't want to say the name because I don't like it, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So other than that, yeah, man, I think that'll be a good fight. Pacquiao being out, yeah, he's gonna be rusty. We'll see how. What's the dude he's fighting's name again?
Errol
I have
Spence
to read
Jr.
up on. Okay.
Yeah, ERROL Spence Jr.
Oh, Spence, Earl Spence Jr.
Errol Spence Jr. Yep, he's like I said, from his record, he's
27-0.
27-0, 21 knockouts.
Yeah, Earl Spence Jr., man, that guy,
I've seen a couple of fights in the past. That dude is no joke.
He's not a pushover, man. He may take on Pacquiao and he may not knock him out, but he may put him down once or twice. And if it goes the distance, he will win the fight.
If Pacquiao does not watch
my
it,
money,
he's gonna lose.
Yeah, I put my money behind Earl Spence Jr., dude.
Yes,
I put my money behind him. I like that kid. All right, y'all. But I just got to the house, so I wanted to tap in with y'all and talk a little bit. But like I said, man, I'm around. Just been busy with the kid in baseball. But Nation Night Fights will be back soon. And like I said, I'll come and jump on with you guys when I can and join you for an episode here and there.
Cool, brother.
Okay,
Good
man.
talking
No
to
problem.
you, man.
Open door policy, brother.
For sure, brother. Y'all have a good one. And thanks for having me on again tonight.
Be good,
of course,
brother.
man. Take it easy.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Awesome.
And that was Hijacker Mike, people, host of Nation Night Fights.
So
that was great, man.
Yes.
That was awesome. I am so sorry Kevin did not get a damn word in the entire thing.
No, I admittedly am not the biggest boxing or MMA fan. It's again the same with basketball, where I'm very much a casual. Where Triple G and Canelo Alvarez are fighting. Oh, I'll go and watch that one. Hey, who are the people on the undercard? Hey, why am I watching the undercard? I'm here for Triple G and Canelo.
So as we were talking about before our buddy came in, hijacker,
Yeah.
we're talking about Aaron Rodgers no showing the Green Bay Packers, quote unquote, mandatory mini training camp. Not surprised.
No, I'm not surprised. There's really nothing more to add to it. It's noteworthy just because of the whole Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers saga.
Do we have a
That's
score
going on
update?
all
Real quick, before we go to the Jones with the Titans trade.
Yep.
Any score updates in baseball or NBA?
Yeah, why don't you hit us with another score update there, Kevin?
Yep, hang on. I will do that.
No problem,
of
buddy.
course, the Vegas.
Big thing. Once again,
Colorado
big
game
thanks
is
to
starting now.
Hijacker for being on with us.
Yes, big thanks to Hijacker for that. So a quick little update on scores. It's 9-0 Marlins over the Rockies in the bottom of the sixth. It's 4-3 Red Sox over the Astros in the top of the fifth. 3-0 White Sox over the Blue Jays in the bottom of the third. 3-1 Yankees over the Twins in the bottom of the second. And in the NBA, I'm going to do two things at once here. So Brooklyn has stormed back at half. They are down 3 points, 45-42. So they have stormed back quite a bit from last time we saw the score, which was 22-9. So no, they are not dead, but you never know.
Yeah, sports are crazy, man. You never know with the stuff.
All right, so as I go and get the Julio Jones trade up on my page.
Okay.
So Julio Jones, the big news in the NFL this week is that he was traded from the Atlanta Falcons to the Tennessee Titans. So he was traded. Let's see if I can go and find it in here. This one. Oh, why am I not finding it? Okay. So the Julio Jones trade was made official today. This is on June 9th. So yesterday. Tennessee trades a 2022 second round pick, a 2023 conditional fourth round pick. Atlanta trades Julio Jones and a 2023 sixth round pick. Julio now counts on Tennessee's book, and Atlanta has the cap to sign its draft picks. The Atlanta Falcons cap situation was around $330,000 before they were maxed out. Clearly, that's not enough to go and sign draft picks. Julio Jones was due $15 million as a cap hit, so that helps out tremendously. So the conditional pick, like I mentioned, it's a conditional 2023 fourth round pick. If the Titans get, for the conditions of it, if the Titans get a compensatory pick in the fourth round, Falcons will get that one. If the Titans do not get a comp pick, the Falcons will get the Titans' original fourth. So a compensation pick in the NFL draft. If Titans go and lose a player free agency, they are given a compensation pick. And you guessed it, compensation for losing a player free agency. And depending upon the contract, the player, it can be as high as a third round pick and as low as the seventh. So if Tennessee next year loses, and when I say next year, I mean 2022 season. After that, in the off season, if they go and lose a player and are awarded a compensation pick in the fourth round, that goes to Atlanta. If not, their original fourth round pick of 2023 goes. So this is a major story in the NFL because obviously there were a few teams that were looking to go and trade for him. My first thought, I'll go and save. Ugh. Oh my God! Sorry for the yawn, guys. Having to wake up at the ass crack of dawn every day does have its limitations.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I'm running on 3 hours. Don't worry. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep after getting off work at 6 a.m.
You're good, brother.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining. So
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But yeah, this trade is a very interesting trade for Tennessee getting this guy. I mean, Julio Jones is one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's been playing for over 10 years, it seems like, and it's hard to believe at times because the guy is incredible talent. He's a hell of a player and a hell of a competitor.
Ezra, what about you?
I think it's a good get for Tennessee. I think they really need I think they need a veteran wide receiver that is really going to help them out, whether it be whether it be out there, whether it's just out there in the routes, just opening up areas to allow other players to make catches, whether it's even to me, like you said in the interview, he's there for the team. He's not there for himself. He even said that in a recent interview. He said, I'm a team guy, not a stat guy. He's not looking to boost his stats to get, an award for most catches. He's looking to help the Tennessee Titans get to the next level of where they need to be. And to me, I think with Kaiser and with Tannehill, who need some more fresh targets, Julio is going to provide that. He's going to provide the veteran leadership. He's going to provide the overall ability, the explosiveness, the ability to get out there and be able to open up lanes and make those catches. I think he's going to really, really, really do a good justice to the Titans organization, really help them get to that next level, whether it be further in the playoffs or just, just overall stats. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. But I think Julio is a great addition to the Titans organization.
Yes, and also as well, not just it takes the pressure off of Derrick Henry being 99.9% of the offense because Derrick Henry is a huge weapon in the offense for Tennessee, and plus that gives Ryan Tannehill a weapon to throw to because Tannehill he's for once in his career with Tennessee, he's actually had a good career because he has people around him that believe in him, that care about him, and I think. With Jones coming to Tennessee, I think Tannehill's going to have a good season this year.
Yeah,
and don't forget that Tennessee's got AJ Brown.
This is true, and AJ Brown.
Not only do they have AJ Brown, who's a streaky threat, they've now got Julio Jones, who you throw it up and he's coming down with the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, and
modern-day Randy Moss.
I agree with that 1,000%. But then you're right about Derrick Henry. It would help take some of the load off of him, being that he was the focal point of the offense last season, and he's been the focal point of the organization since he joined. It's been Derrick Henry, and you can only do that so much to a player, on one singular player, to carry the load of the offense like that before something happens, whether it's injury or frustration, whatever that may be. But this is going to help on that to help distribute those offensive plays and kind of just even out things on that offensive side of the ball.
Oh yeah. The thing with me, I think this trade is a fantastic one for Tennessee. It definitely goes and helps them out tremendously. It makes them a much more serious contender, a much more serious threat. I also think I want to go and talk about one aspect to the season that's now going to be incredibly tough. And the reason I brought up Randy Moss a minute ago is because every cornerback on the Titans schedule this year is in for a hell of a slog going up against Julio Jones and AJ Brown on either side of the line. As much as Julio Jones is, I think he's turned 30 or 31. He's been in the league 10, 11 years. Yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30, but the guy can still get the ball and still jump up and catch it. I have no doubts that he'll be able to go and get this done, and he'll be a major star for Tennessee. And maybe it'll lead to a Super Bowl win. You never know.
A good possibility, very good possibility. With just the overall right balance of players, they could do that. And the right play calling, and it's just a matter of how that team plays the season. I can see them going deep into the playoffs. I can.
I agree,
especially with especially with their offense getting better over this past season.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see how their division plays out.
And they were a couple of plays away from beating Baltimore in that game. Like that game could have went so so many different directions if they would have had a weapon like a Julio Jones on the other side of the offense. And now that you have, like you said, a Julio Jones and AJ Brown, man, those two receivers, man, like you said, Kevin and Ezra, they are going to stretch every single defensive player on any other team that they played this season in 2021, 2022. They are going to make their lives miserable. And I think that Tennessee this year is going to have a heck of a season. I think they're going to do good. And I think possibly, maybe they might win their division. Who knows at this point? Who knows?
No, it's entirely possible that they can go in and win the division. I definitely see the Colts as being a loser in this trade because when they were able to land Carson Wentz, it started to create, oh, okay, the Colts are the team to beat. I know Tennessee won it last year, but you saw what Baltimore did to them. Are they a legit team? Are they a legit contender? Are they more of a pretender and a get into the dance, but not really do that well? Now it seems like, okay, it's going to be a fantastic two-team race in the AFC South between the Colts and the Titans, and the Titans probably will come out on top.
I saw some very interesting comments from our buddy Steve again on YouTube here, Kevin, about this and the Aaron Rodgers discussion as well.
Yep. I'll start with the Rodgers one since I was the first one before Hijacker came in.
Okay.
He said Rodgers will not play this season. I just read the tea leaves, and I know that he wants his environment the way he wants it. The Packers didn't re-sign his best friend Jay Kumaro. That's true. But like, I still have the mindset of team over player.
Yeah.
With the NFL, and that Rodgers, you're not the Packers. You're not. Number one, that's a toss-up between Bart Starr and Brett Favre. Bart Starr did more for the Packers. Brett Favre did more for the Packers than Aaron Rodgers ever did.
He thinks he's the Trent Reznor of football.
Hey.
I'm not saying nothing bad. I'm just saying, what do you think of when you think of Nine Inch Nails? Trent Reznor. What do you think of Aaron? What do you think of the Packers? You think of two people, Bart Starr and Brett Favre. Not Aaron fucking Rodgers. You only think of that if you've been born in the last 10 years.
Yeah. His second comment, Tannehill is a great downfield thrower. Julio Jones comes with 3 years of foot or ankle injuries. There's a reason the Falcons didn't use him in the red zone. Julio will help with opening A.J. Brown. That's definitely going to happen. It might be that Julio's not going to have the same production that he used to have with Atlanta. But quick aside, the Vegas-Colorado game started, and 23 seconds in, Colorado scored a goal. Uh-oh. This might go
be interesting.
Wow. Oh, that's a goal that Fleury should have back. Oh, that was bad. Anyway, so yeah, no, Julio Jones will definitely help out with opening up AJ Brown because, all right, I got to double team one of those two guys. I can't double team both because if I double team both, I've now got 6 guys to go and cover 3 receivers, and I've got 3 of those guys going after the quarterback. So I've really only got 3 guys to cover 3 receivers, and I doubt I'm going to want them covering the 3 receivers since I'm thinking 3 down linemen, 3 linebacker, 4 defensive backs. Okay, I'm going to double Julio Jones because he's older. Well, AJ Brown just went and beat you single coverage. All right, I'm going to double team AJ Brown. Well, Julio Jones just beat you single coverage. Oh, it's going to make defensive coordinators' head spin. Until Bill Belichick shows up and he goes and plays 8 defensive backs like he'll do to Tom Brady in week 4.
Yep.
He can run the ball.
Yep.
And Tennessee will be able to go and do that, so it won't really work effectively.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, and then Here's an interesting point. Keep in mind that Julio has never played. Oh, it's going to be one of those games, I guess. Sorry for the interruption. Vegas just tied it up at a minute 15.
Oh my!
1 minute 15 into the game.
Oh my!
A mere.
Here we
Not even a
go,
minute.
baby.
It's going to be one of those guys. Oh, okay. If Fleury's goal is one that he wants to have back, Rauber absolutely wants this one back. He's not even paying attention to where the puck is. Oh, that's one that's going to haunt him if he loses today. Wow. It's going to be one of those games.
Wow!
No. 52 seconds between the goals. Thank you for that, NBC. I couldn't do the math in my head quite quickly enough. Oh, wow. All right. I'm kind of like, I want to keep watch. Oh, what? Nope. Grab that one. 2-on-1 for Vegas, and Grabner's like, nope, I'm taking that one. Nuh-uh. All right. Anyway, so focus. Steve Logsdon brings up a really good point. Julio has never played a majority of his games in cold weather. Excuse me. He's been in a dome. He plays 8 games a year in a
Good
dome.
point.
And
Good point, Steve.
hang on. He played in the AFC South, so he played 8 games in the dome. He played 10 games in a dome per season 9 games by going to New Orleans once a year. So you played 9 games in the dome, and then you have 1 game in Tampa, Florida, and 1 game in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, that's some pretty good weather for 11 games out of the year. So you got 5 mainly that you could possibly have an issue. So no, that's a very, very good point. However, Nashville doesn't get cold like it would in New England. I could see that being a bigger problem if Julio had been traded to the Patriots. But it is definitely something because he has not played in inclement weather the entire season because he's been in a dome for 9 games. So that is a very, very good point.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
we'll see. We shall see how this all goes and plays out because, of course, it's June 10th. Everything could go and change. Julio Jones could go and suffer an injury. AJ Brown could suffer an injury. Tannehill could go and be out for the year again. You never know what could potentially happen in the NFL. Anybody else have final thoughts on Julio Jones and the trade?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good, man.
All right. So does anybody have any final sporting thoughts? Anything you can think of?
Not really.
I think that, real quick, as far as, referring to the games tomorrow, I mean, these are some critical games for Denver, and it's also a critical game for the Clippers because they don't want to go down 2-0. And this is a very critical. Oh, they play tonight. That's right. They play tonight.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
They play later tonight, and it's a critical game for the Clippers tonight. And they don't want to go down 2-0 against the Jazz. And tomorrow, like I said, with the Suns and the Suns and the Nuggets in their game, and Atlanta and Philadelphia, that is going to be the game to watch. Is Philadelphia and Atlanta, because there is no telling with that series. But as far as the Denver and Phoenix series, Denver needs this game. They cannot go down 3-0, because if they do, the series is basically over.
Yep. And as a quick score update, it's currently tied with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter at 57 apiece.
And again, like I said at the top of the hour with the intro, Milwaukee needs these 2 games. If they want a shot in the hell, a shot in the dark to win this series against Brooklyn, it has to start tonight.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There's critical games coming up. We've got a lot of stuff going on right now as far as, of course, NHL and NBA playoffs. The season for baseball's heating up. It's been, as far as my stuff goes, my MMA news, it's been really, really light this week. Outside of the big pay-per-view this weekend, where we have, like I said, the return of Nate Diaz back to the octagon. That's going to be a really, really good. We have 2 title fights. Overall, really, really strong card, and also the return of Damian Maia, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu legend in the UFC. So it's gonna be a really intense card this weekend. Anybody who's out there, go and watch it. It's gonna be awesome. I'll definitely be reporting on it next week. Also, Clarissa Shields, who is a boxer, she is transitioning over to mixed martial arts. She'll be having her first fight. I don't think she has a date on it, but she will be officially by the end of the year will be in her first MMA match. So hopefully she has a smooth transition and does really well. And as far as that goes, I have nothing else on my end. How about you? Statman? You got anything?
No, I mean, you can go and move on to, unless you want to go and count this all as your final thoughts, and I can go and get into my final thought. So you guys.
Yeah. Well, the final thought, I'll just say this much. Thanks everybody for watching. Of course, as always, we love the comments. Keep the YouTube hopping every week. It's been fun. Great sports week, great show, gents, as always. And thank you again to Hijacker for joining us, giving us a little live rendition of the Nation Night Fights.
Yes.
As well as getting into some good baseball talk too. We normally don't get to talk baseball with Hijacker that much unless he's at the Coliseum.
Yes.
So this is a pretty good opportunity to get him involved in one of our very, very big discussions.
Yes. So, my final thoughts exactly. Great show again today, guys. Shout out to Hijacker for coming on tonight, talking with us about the whole baseball with the spider tactics stuff and all of that horse crap, and talking, a little bit of boxing, MMA, here and there. Yeah, just, great show tonight. And we look forward to next week, because next week the playoffs just keep getting interesting, baby. Let's go.
No, it definitely does. My final thought, I'm gonna just go in and tell you guys about the meaning of life. I mean, it's nothing very special. Try to be nice to people, avoid eating fat, read a good book every now and then, get some walking in, and try to live together in peace and harmony with people of all creeds and nations. And if you know, you know. So, with that said, for Stephen Wyand, for Ezra Vickery, and for myself, this has been yet another installment of Our Nation Sports Show. Remember to go and follow us on Our Nation Sports Show on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Not MySpace, as MySpace is for old people. So, go and follow us there. Subscribe, like, comment, rate, whatever you can go and do for our show. It means the world to us. We hope you have a pleasant night, a pleasant tomorrow, and we'll see you next week. Peace out, you mutts.